Good afternoon, all. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are, actually, like I usually say. So, there's a thing about me that I have realized, and it is that I will probably never in life fit in any type of corporate America setting, in any type of corporate setting, period. And I'll tell you why. There's this thing that I've had since I was really young, since I was in elementary school, probably even before then, but I can remember moments in elementary school where I was given an instruction by a teacher, an authority figure, and I said, that doesn't make sense. Can you explain that to me? And from the time that I did that, I was labeled as a rebel. And I kind of owned that label because I didn't really know what a rebel was. But later on in my life, I'm like, it makes me a rebel if you give me an instruction that doesn't make sense to me as to why I have to do it, and I ask you why I have to do it. I mean, I understand when you're in a household. In a household, I wasn't allowed to ask such questions. If I was told to do something in the house by my parents or whoever was in charge, my grandparents, whoever was left in charge of me for the day, and I didn't want to do it. It was like, you have to do it because I'm in charge. I'm your parent. So in those settings, I get that. I just did what I had to do. Those were dictatorships. There's nothing you can do about that. But in every other setting, I was like, why can I not ask questions? So I took that with me into the corporate world. A lot of times in the corporate world, people ask you to do things, and the response of a lot of people is that's above my pay grade. But I've tried hard not to be one of those that's above my pay grade people. That's not to say that there are not some times where I will just concede to whatever it is because I don't care enough. I'm not paid enough. But I try not to develop an apathy. And today I realize that I really, really strongly have one because I reached one such scenario today at work where I was given an instruction to do something that was very routine. And I did it according to all the rules of what was supposed to be done. Hey, Mark, you need to complete such and such. I completed it and it was done. It was the end. Then I get a follow up. Hey, Van Hoot, how you doing? I'm pretty good. So then I get a follow up like, hey, you didn't do this and this and this protocol. Now go back and do this. So I was thinking to myself, unless what this person is telling me is a new protocol, I did do what I was supposed to do. I've never seen this part of the instruction before. And if it was new and they said, oh, I know that this was how it was done before, but now there's a new thing that you have to do, then okay, it's new. I get it. But it wasn't a new thing. It was just one of those cases where the person in charge always feels like they have to get the last word. Oh, this is okay, but you need to do this. This is fine, but you need to do that. Make sure you do this and make sure you never forget to do this. So I'm like, basically, if you can follow my train of thought, there's talking to give you instruction and inform you of something that you have need to do or didn't do, and then there's just talking just to talk. I'm your boss, so I want to show you that I'm your boss by continuing to talk. So I really wanted to say what I would normally say. Hey, can you please tell me why I need to do this thing? So, to give an analogy, there are some people who, if you give them a paycheck and say, here, take this sponge and go soak up the ocean with this sponge, they will be like, yes, sir, or yes, ma'am, whoever's in charge. they're going to do it whether it makes sense or not, because if I do it, I'm going to get money for doing it. I'm not that person. I'm going to be like, why am I putting a sponge in the ocean? That's not going to soak up the ocean. It's just going to soak up the sponge, and the sponge is going to go to the bottom of the ocean. So, what's the point? And people have said that makes me a rebel because I don't just do it. But I don't think it makes me a rebel because when I sign up to do something, anything, I don't care whether it's a 9 to 5 job, I don't care whether it's a personal project, I don't care if it's volunteer work. What I'm doing has to have some kind of purpose to it and it has to make some sort of sense. And if both of those things are not the case, then I'm not committed. I'm not committed to doing it. So, in this particular case today, I was given this instruction: hey, Mark, do such and such, whatever, whatever. And a thought was to say, this process that you're giving me does not make any sense. Or not to say it like that, but probably I would say, can you please explain this process to me because such and such and such. But instead, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So I actually just did it. And it involved me calling another party. And the other party was trying to tell me why what I was telling them doesn't make sense. And I had to really lean into this because all I wanted to do was execute what I was told to do so I can write my note and move on. And I hate to feel that way. I really do, but I did feel that way. I'm like, I fight enough things. I'm going to let this one go. And when it implodes later, I'm going to be like, "Oh, what's your proposed solution?" Because obviously my solutions don't make you and your solutions make sense to you. So I will just follow the ship um, to whatever destination you're leading us to, and that's another part of the reason why I don't like being in spots where I'm not leading my own thing, because sometimes people say, "Oh, Mark, if you saw this coming, why didn't you say anything?" Because there's a difference between valuing somebody's input or just being like, "Oh, you should have helped me. You should have helped save me from myself." That's not my job to do. You are paid the big bucks to lead. And it's not to say that I will not help somebody who is in a leadership position if I see an area that I can help them. But if they don't value the input of what I'm giving them, and they just hope that I'm going to rescue them when they tell me something stupid, that's just never going to be me. But I guess that's my little rant for the day. But other than that, I'm doing okay. Just to remind everyone, for those who don't know, I am starting my grieving group on Saturday, April 6th. I'm going to keep posting the information. I'll post the information on Saturday as well. I am going to post a Zoom link. It's free to join, it's donation based, and I'm going to be going through a workshop that I'm putting together myself, a 10-week workshop about healthy grieving. And aside from that, I hope everyone has an amazing evening. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank you.